Good afternoon and welcome to Mystery of Money. My name's Nick, and on this channel we discuss all sorts of financial topics and topics that surround money. So if that sounds like something you may be interested in, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button below and follow me along on this journey. If you get a lot of value out of this video, please hit that like button. Let me know that people are watching these videos, and if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Now let's get into the video. So the topic I'm going to cover today is the top 3 reasons why I do not use debit cards. I own them. In fact, I own one. Let me clarify that. I own one debit card, and the only reason I own it is so I can go to the ATM to take cash out if I need it. So I'm going to start with the number one reason why I believe that debit cards are horrible to keep or to utilize on a daily basis, and that being fraud. Now, I know that certain proponents and certain channels and higher financial gurus state that you shouldn't use credit cards, you should only use debit cards because you can't spend more money than you have, and fill in your reason of why you think that is. But from personal experience, I've had my debit card stolen twice now. The first time was the physical card was stolen on a military base when I was stationed in Virginia. My gym bag was in there, had my wallet hidden, everything. Finished working out, took a shower, got home. I didn't even realize it was gone. But I started seeing all these charges coming out of my account. It was just a list. It was there was $300 to Lowe's. There was like 7 gas station charges. I don't know if they got their whole family and all their brothers and cousins and filled up their vehicles, but you had all these charges coming out. Well, what happened is it ran my balance negative. So then every charge that came in after that, $20 fee, $20 fee, $20 fee, NSF charge after, It ended up being my account was negative, like $1,700 from all these charges. Well, I was with Navy Federal at the time, and I called them up and I said, I think my card was compromised because I didn't even know I didn't have a physical card. These are all the charges. So I filled out a dispute form and sent it in. This was back before they had email, but it was more like I printed it out, signed it, and had to mail it in. They refunded it back, all the charges that went negative, and they made my account back to zero. Well, that didn't help me pay my bills going forward. So I was in a real predicament. I had to actually take out a personal loan to be able to cover my expenses until till they disputed it and got all the charges and refunded the account back. So that was my personal experience as to what happens when there's fraud on your account. It's legitimately like carrying your checkbook around with you, or I should say your checking account, in the fact that they have access to everything that's in there if they use it as a debit card, or as they use it as a credit card but not a debit, so they didn't have to put the PIN in. Again, this is before all chip cards and the higher securities on them. But anyway, that was the first time I was on base. Second time, my number was digitally taken. I got a call. I was on leave, at my home state, and I got a phone call saying, was I, overseas or whatever. And of course, being in the military, I had been overseas several times, but not during that time period. So, same thing. They were lucky enough they caught the charges prior to them actually coming onto the card. It was almost like the pre-authorization. So they were able to stop it, didn't send any charges through, and that was good. Since that day, I should say after that day, I canceled all my debit cards. I didn't have any, or if I did one, they stayed at home or very hidden. In fact, I very rarely even used cash back then. I just used credit cards and then paid it off. And I still do that to this day. The only reason I have one, I hadn't had a debit card probably in the last 4 years. And the only reason I got it currently is, again, like I said, to be able to get cash out. I don't even like carrying it around, but I have to in the case I need the cash. So that's reason number 1 is fraud. Reason number 2. So reason number 2 ties into reason number 1 with the fraud, and the fact that you're literally carrying around your checking account. If you lose that card and for some reason they guess your PIN, or they have your PIN, or use it as a credit, your accounts will go to zero very fast. Now there's a lot more security features intact that the bank can stop it if they see things that aren't really in line with your normal daily activity, because believe me, they are tracking everything every cent that you spend, you're being tracked. I mean, I hate to say it, but it is true, because I know for sure that I've made purchases that are outside of the norm for me, and I've had either a fraud check or an email alert. So the technology is definitely getting better, but that being said, it's also getting better on the criminals and the people that want your accounts and want your money. They're exponentially going up, especially with the time we're having right now, with what's going on in the world and the pandemic. Criminals that's their job, basically, is to try and get money, and they're taking advantage of the fact that people are staying at home, not going out as much, doing a lot more online banking, doing a lot more online transactions. It's easier to get those numbers if your number's out there. Reason number 3, and this is the one that is the most controversial topic: points. I use credit cards on both the business and the personal side, and I accumulate points, which I turn into cash back. So theoretically, I get paid for shopping. Now, that being said, I always pay my credit cards off on time, knock on wood. I've always been fortunate with that, making sure that I'm utilizing them correctly and not paying interest. So I use the points, I use the credit cards, and I pay them off monthly. I accumulate that cash back, and that pays for other purchases. And I know there's some ridiculous points available out there, or cash back available. They're talking anywhere from 3%, 3% on certain items. I know the Apple Card is 3% on any Apple products. Plus, they have the no interest financing if you're going to buy a new Apple product. So you have to look at the cards that have the benefits, and then choose one. Don't choose a bunch, because every time they pull your credit score is going to be impacted. But if you choose 1 or 2 that have those benefits, and you use those as leverage in order to make more money, to me, that's just extra income that I can use for other things. Again, it's controversial, because a lot of financial gurus will say that the credit cards are a trap, that they'll get you in debt and things like that. And it's absolutely true if you don't use it. If you don't use it correctly, or I should say, if you don't monitor how you use it to make sure that you're using it correctly. So those are my 3 reasons why I don't use debit cards. Again, I keep them for cash. That's it. If you got enjoyment out of this video, I appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to learn more about financial topics, hit that subscribe button and follow me along on this journey. Until next time, have a great day.